What's up, YouTube? Pierce Standards here, and we're going to do a reaction video on Little Richard. I haven't seen this in a long time, haven't heard his name in a long time, so he's on Letterman. Let's see what he's talking about.
Imagine what rock and roll would sound like if our next guest had never been born. Along with Elvis Presley and Chuck Berry, he is one of the undisputed giants of rock. From the day he recorded Tutti Frutti in 1955, his influence has been enormous. His life has been just as exciting as his music, and we'll talk to him about both tonight. Please welcome.
Can y'all hear that coughing? Is that me or back there? I don't know.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Little Richard.
Richard, how are you? Nice to see you, sir.
Thank you very much for being here. At the very beginning of the show, I made a statement which I think is a pretty fair one. Let me know what you think of it. If you hadn't come along, or maybe rock and roll would have started differently or later. I'm sure it would have started sooner or later.
Didn't Chuck Berry start it, right?
I don't believe it would have got started at all. In my hometown, Macon, Georgia, where I'm from, I've never heard any rock and roll music before. It was Swing and Sway with Sammy Kaye when I was a little boy.
Yeah. How old were you when you were listening to Sammy Kaye?
I really didn't listen to him. But I had gotten tired of hearing about him. And so what I did, I started playing the piano and I made up Tutti Frutti. And I sung Tutti Frutti for many years before I recorded it. Because everybody thought it was crazy. You know, wop, bop, loom, bop, lop, bam, boom.
Yeah.
Didn't nobody know what it meant, and I didn't either.
Yeah.
So I decided that I should put that on record.
Yeah.
Who's coming in the doorway?
You were in 1957. How long had you been performing as Little Richard at that point?
I had been performing as Little Richard from a little boy.
Yeah.
From a little boy, I was singing around Macon, Georgia, beating on the doorsteps. I would go around from house to house and beat on the steps, and people would give
But he said, how old would you be? Okay. Oh, there you go.
me a quarter, a dime, 50 cents.
But by 1957, you were an established rock and roll entity.
Yes.
And you were touring in Australia?
All over the world.
And what happened in Australia? You just decided, that's it, I'm not going to do it anymore.
Well, what happened when I was in Australia, then during that period, I stopped and went to school. You know, I'd never made this type of money, David. You know, I was making $15 a week in Macon, and all of a sudden I'm making $10,000 an hour. So I went back to school to learn how to count, to read, because I didn't know how. I needed to know how to handle the money.
That makes sense. Because like you said, they didn't really teach you that back then. So, at least in school. And I'm assuming he didn't have any elders to help him with that. So that makes a lot of sense.
A lot of managers that was handling it a whole lot, taking it all, leaving me nothing. I didn't even know how to count the nothing that they left. So I went back to school to study.
So, but at that time, did you get into religion, or was it?
Yes, well, I've always been religiously inclined. You know, my mother in Macon, Georgia, my mother has 12 kids, and I would have to go to church in order to go to the movie. I would have to go to church Sunday morning, the Baptist church, and that evening I would go to the movie. But I've always loved God. You know, in my hometown, if you didn't love God, you didn't have nothing, because it was so prejudiced back in that time. You know, I had to do what I was doing in order to survive.
Yeah. What do you mean, had to do what you were doing to survive?
Well, you know, when I was singing rock and roll, at that time they would call black music race music when I sung rock and roll. I was on R.C. Victor before Elvis Presley.
They also called it satanic too, so I wonder if that has anything to do with it as well.
But they wouldn't put me on RCA, they put me on Camden. So when I would wear makeup, they would let me sing for the white girls. When I put on eyelashes and all that, they would let me sing. But when I went as a just straight dude, they wouldn't let me sing.
Now why is that?
Well, they thought I wanted the girls. So if I came out a straight guy, they wouldn't let me sing. But when I came out with all the makeup on and all the eyelashes.
Oh, so they wanted you gay. It's kind of like, kind of reminds me of Three's Company.
Lashes and all the hair, they said Richard is a good boy. I never was a good man, but I was a good boy.
Now, who is they that you're talking about here?
Some of the whites in Macon, where I'm from. I came from a little town. You know, it was real prejudice back in that time.
Now, this is, as I recall, my memory of you is you were a peculiar appearing performer. You were not the guy running the 7-Eleven. Well, maybe you were, but you looked strange, you know.
Well, it was strange because didn't nobody else have nerve enough to wear what I was wearing.
Yeah.
I believe a lot of people wanted to look like I looked, but they didn't know how to put it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just they were too ashamed to do that. I couldn't do it personally.
Yeah.
I think that during that period that there was a lot of people that would love to have been flamboyant, you know, just like Kiss and Jimi Hendrix, which was my guitar player. He started out with me. Billy Preston, James Brown was my vocalist. Otis Redding, all the Beatles came with me. They started with me. Mick Jagger.
Yeah, they all opened for him.
All these people started with me.
So you, I mean, now taking another turn here, you really did have a dramatic impact and a great deal of influence on what would later become the mainstays of rock and roll music.
I was the architect of rock.
But my other question is, if you had these religious roots, wasn't it kind of a tearing circumstance for you to be appearing in eye makeup and so forth, and then also be a devout Baptist?
Yes, it was, and they didn't like that. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, I wasn't.
The Baptists in those days probably didn't want women wearing makeup, did they?
Well, in those days, some of them didn't know what they was wearing themselves. What happened is, I wasn't really a religious person. I was a young boy. I wanted to be famous so bad, and I really wanted a Cadillac. Lord Price came to my hometown.
Hey, Cadillacs was the joint back then. I mean, my parents still drive Cadillacs to this day.
And he had a Cadillac, and so I wanted to sing and get me a Cadillac. I wanted to be famous for one purpose, to get a Cadillac.
Just to get the Cadillac.
The longest Cadillac in my hometown was owned by the funeral home, and you had to die to ride.
Yeah, that's no fun getting it that way.
And I was determined not to die.
All right, we're going to continue with Little Richard. We'll be back in a minute or two, folks. Welcome back. Paul Schaefer. Gentlemen, of course, is Little Richard, and that's one of your songs right there, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's one of my... Lucille, that's Lucille.
Yeah. Now, have these songs made you a wealthy man?
No.
Well, it should have.
Oh, this is your managers again.
My managers are very rich,
Yeah,
sitting on hills. Some of them falling off of the hills now. The storms are pushing some of them off. But I made a lot of money, but I was cheated, I was used, I was exploited. You know, the
Very
fella
much.
came to Macon, Georgia and got me and told me he'd make me a star. I wanted to be a star more than I got the money.
Yeah.
So he's rich. I didn't get rich from it, but...
You're doing okay now, though. I mean, you're not, yeah.
God is good to me. God is a good... I'm not Reverend Ike.
No, I know that.
But he died broke, if I remember correctly. He had some financial trouble going down the road as he got older.
But God has been good, you know, because I don't tell people they're going to have no pie in the sky by and by. I've had enough pie down here. When I go to heaven, I'm just going to be with Jesus.
Let me ask you about one thing, and then we have some videotape of you in action. When you were a young boy, you were tossed out of your own home, eh?
Yes.
How does this happen?
Well, my daddy, we had 12 kids. My daddy's name is Charles Penniman, and we called him Bud. But I wouldn't obey my father. I didn't obey my father. I didn't do what he wanted me to do, and so he told me I had to get out. He said, Richard, I was gay, and he says that I wanted 7 boys, and you're messing it up.
Wow.
And my brother's name was Charles, so I would go out in the yard and call him. I had a high voice. I would say, Charles! He said, I'm going to kill you tonight. He said, I'm going to kill you because I was really flamboyant, so my people didn't like it. So my daddy said, you either follow this rule or get out.
Yeah.
So I got out because I wanted to wear all of my stones
Now,
and
how old were you when you hit the road then, when he tossed you out?
I was old enough to go in the streets because I had to find a place. My mother didn't want me to go. I was about 17, 16.
Now, is your father still alive?
No, Dad is dead. He didn't live to see my fame or nothing. And
Did
so,
you ever get this worked out, or was it a problem the rest of your life?
no, but God gave me the victory. I'm not gay now, but you know, I was gay all my life. I believe I was one of the first gay people to come out. But God let me know that he made Adam be with Eve, not Steve. So I gave my heart to Christ.
But let me add, you keep saying one provocative thing after another. You used to be gay, but now you're not.
I'm not. I'm a man for the first time in my life.
Yeah.
I know how you
Wow. I don't know if you can say that nowadays.
feel now.
This is getting more and more fascinating with each new turn. There is
I
about
mean,
90
each new
different
turn.
things I would like to ask you now. We can't ask you 90 different things. I have to ask you this, though. Did you ever one time make Johnny Carson get out of his chair?
Yes, I took a costume on for him to put on, and I told him I wanted to do something I'd never done before, and I ran through the audience, And I told him I've always wanted to host a show, and I asked him up, and he let me get up. He got up, I took his seat. Yes, I did.
We should, I guess, establish now what you're doing. We've mentioned what you have done and what you mean in music history. What are you doing now?
Well, I'm an evangelist now, David. I travel over the world preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ, and I became a drug addict. I was on heroin, I was angel dust, everything, acid, and my brother, I had 4 people to die. One night I was appearing at Magic Mountain, and a friend of mine fell dead. I had another friend of mine that I went to his house to get some cocaine. My birthday is December the 5th. On my birthday, he fell dead.
Wow.
I had another friend of mine that some fellows put in a trunk and cut him up with a butcher knife. Ike and Tina Turner had an engagement in Miami, and I went in Tina's place. My brother fell dead. And then I made a vow to God that I wanted to do something in his service. And God said, what shall it profit a man if he should gain the whole world and lose his own soul? So I was determined to give my life to Christ before it's too late, because I could be dead. You know, Elvis was a very good friend of mine, Buddy Holly, Jimi Hendrix, all these people, and God has spared my life. If a person sees...
Yeah, he outlived all those guys. That is really amazing. So I kind of see why he did that.
me, they can see that I am a new creature. If any man be in Christ, God made me all over again.
But are you a satisfied person now? Are you sometimes you don't get the urge to go back out and crank out some hits and?
No. I'm happy now. I've made a lot of hits, you know, in the past, but I'm happy now because I have peace of mind, that peace that passeth all understanding, and it's just peace that you can't get nowhere.
And I'm so glad he got his peace, because, man, that is it. He went through a lot.
Gregory?
Gregory's here, apparently. Huh? There was some speculation that Gregory might not make it. You're going to sing this, right, Richard?
Yes, I am.
One day at a time, ladies and gentlemen. Go on over there, if you will, sir. Little Richard singing One Day at a Time.
One day at a time, sweet Jesus.
Country sounds.
That's all I'm asking from you. Give me the strength to do every day what I have to do. Where yesterday's gone, sweet Jesus.
Feels like bluesy almost. Feels really different than what he normally. I'm used to him playing.
And tomorrow may never be mine. Show me the way. Give me today, one day at a time. I'm only human, and I'm just a man.
The man back here with the guitar is killing it right now.
Help me in what I believe in, all that I have. Show me the stairway that I have to climb. Lord, for my sake, just let me take one day at a time.
So is this off like a Christian album or what? I'm curious.
So we go to Rome. The whole time I think that my boyfriend's going to propose.
And I knew he wasn't. It was basically the most unromantic, romantic trip ever.
I even ended up having to use my Sapphire Reserve card to pay for dinner because his card was not accepted.
Yeah, no ring, but at least you got the points.
Ugh, eating this means a night in for me.
At least
I
they're
can
fast
already
with the
anticipate the
commercials.
stomach issues.
Lord, for my sake, help me to take one day at a time.
think we made enough here. But yeah, thanks for the reaction, guys.